as we all know, it's challenging to find really good deals, especially off-market deals. So when we are in places like a social gathering, if you've got kids, then their soccer game or gymnastics or tumbling or whatever, it's important to be social, talk to other human beings. I think I'd say 70%, maybe a little, that might be a little high, but a higher percent than not of parents or other people or people who are not parents who are attending other functions stay within a circle or stay within a certain clique, or even go and isolate themselves so that they're not talking to a bunch of other people who are gathered for the same event. And that's a big miss. One, it's a big miss just to have human interaction. And whether we acknowledge it or not, we all need a sense of community, and it will be a better, you will have a better feeling for having spoken to others than having not spoken to others at an event like this. And then two, it leads to business results, or it could lead to business results. And nobody wants to talk to someone who is peddling a deal at a gymnastics event. Like that's not what I'm saying here. All I'm saying is, when we attend social functions, be social. And in this case, it led to a $7 million, $6.4 million property that was purchased. And the seller actually wanted $7 million, and she initially offered $6 million, and they came to agreement at 6.4 because of updated financials and some other stuff. But so even when you're $1 million off, whatever that percent is, which is a high percent off on $1 million on a $6 to $7 million property, that's a high percentage. Even when you're that far off, when you have that type of relationship with someone, then you can work through you have a higher chance of working through something. So when you're at a social event, be social. Any comments?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing it reminds me of is, obviously, everyone asks all the time, how do I find deals? And you've got your kind of cookie cutter answer: talk to broker, send out direct mail. But a thing that, as you mentioned, some people will talk about it, but it's not as common. It's just, I believe this is one of the things talked about in Brandon Turner's book on rental investing, which is one way to find deals is to talk about real estate. I think either he gave examples, or maybe I just heard it on your podcast, but I've heard people find deals from people they met at church. I remember, I think this second one was definitely from your podcast. The guy would, he was buying single family homes, and he would just talk to cashiers at like every time he went to like a grocery store, he talked to the cashier, and
I remember that.
he had some strategy. He didn't just say, hey, can I buy your house? Like, he had some strategy behind, he would compliment them, and then eventually the conversation would lead to real estate somehow, and he would just essentially ask for referrals. But yeah, I mean, it's just kind of getting creative, and it's going to be a lot easier to find like a single family home using the strategy. But as Anna has proven, you can find these larger deals as well, even somewhere as non-real estate related as a gymnasium or a place where you do gymnastics. So no, I agree, man. I know someone else who found a deal through just talking to someone at work. So if you're having trouble finding deals, one way to do it is to just talk about real estate. But again, don't be really weird about it and just walk up to random people and say, hey, can I buy your property? Yeah. You can, but it's kind of being more natural about it and having real estate being naturally brought up. So obviously when you're talking to people, one common question is, what do you do for work? So that's a pretty easy way to bring it up.